Hey everybody, I hope you're having a great day. Hey, we're gonna dive into a conversation of getting started. So, hey, my name is Stephanie. Welcome to the KetoMOM page. Thank you for hopping on. Thank you for supporting and using this page as an accountability, especially during this time when so many people just want to be with somebody, right? Or talk to somebody or just be in the presence of people. So as you're tuning in, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from? And how is your day going? So our family, we have 4 daughters. If you're brand new to the page, post new below. We have 4 daughters. Our family has been on this journey for almost 5 years. And so as you're tuning in, like especially if you're new, or think about this, think of people who, first of all, are at home that need to start, or maybe they've fallen off of a healthy lifestyle. This, just so you know, this KetoMOM page is just, it's not all just about keto, right? So most people go, oh my goodness, there's not a black or right, a right or wrong, a one size fits all. So let's just say that we're going to start there, right? So when we first started this, the way I started this lifestyle is very different from the way my husband started, or maybe even you, right? And so I want you to do a couple things, and I would love it if you would do it. Number 1, where are you tuning in from? Number 2, if you're new, post new below so that we can talk, figure out your goals, and I can help you on this journey. And number 3, I would love for you to press the share button, because I need you to know something. There's so many people that are at home and feeling like, ugh. Anybody else? So there's a couple things we're going to be doing more on this page besides lives of helping you. You know what's crazy? Anybody find themselves touching their face a lot? That's why I can't go to the store. Like, I'm always touching my face. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. That's why I can't go to the grocery store. My husband has to go because I'm constantly fidgeting with my face. But anyways, we're going to dive into this lifestyle approach, because if you're new, if you're not new, anybody find themselves in the kitchen a little bit more often these days, or eating those extra little scraps on your kid's plate, or whatever the case may be, right? Maybe you're ordering out, because if you're wherever you're at, some places are locked down. Actually, I think I'm touching my face because I'm sweating. So our family is currently in Florida. We've been here for almost a month. We are living with another family. We've all been quarantined for a month. Don't worry, we're living in the guest house. This is not our home, but it's been super helpful for our kids. So we've been homeschooling, and just, it's really nice here. Otherwise, you'll find our family in in Kentucky or Minnesota, or traveling all over the place. So this is what we are going to do. I'm going to give you some basic tips of how our family started, and I'd love for you to add on as we go. So I need you to press the share button. A lot of people need accountability. So the first thing we're going to start with is, for getting started with this lifestyle, is breakfast. So what I also want you to know is this. Did anybody start by going all in, cleaning out the fridge, throwing everything away, and starting with like a clean slate? If that was me, I would have failed. So there's lots of things that I did to start. But what I want you to know is, I had to mentally go, I don't even understand how to eat an avocado. When we first started, I ate vegetables that were out of a can. Cream corn was my go-to vegetable. I know now that it's not a vegetable. So it was cream corn. I never shopped on the outsides of the grocery store. I didn't even know how to cut up fresh vegetables. Everything came in a box. And we lived off of like lasagna, hot dishes, like meat, bread, and potatoes. Like I'm a meat, bread, and potato girl. So when we dove in, I was overwhelmed. I've shared this story many times, but for those of you who haven't heard, I remember the first day that I was like, I'm going to help my husband, because he was doing it for 2 years prior to me doing it with him. When he started eating keto, he came home and he's like putting butter in his coffee and trying to eat all these fatty things. Anybody grow up with, like, we eat everything that says low fat, no fat, and margarine, right? Or is that just me? So here's the deal. I went to the grocery store, all 4 of the girls in the cart. I remember them being babies. It was like a brand new baby, a 2-year-old, almost 4, almost 6, and I came home crying, and I was like, I don't know how to do this. I know you want me to cook better and we want to eat better, and I didn't understand it. I was overwhelmed. So I had a tool that I used every single day that put me in ketosis. So I had the energy, I had the focus, I wasn't eating keto. What I did, and what I encourage a lot of people to do, is to start simple, right? Because if you can create these little systems and these little habits over time, guess what? You can have a lifestyle that you're going to find yourself sticking with forever. So I talked to an awesome guy today, and he said, hey, I did this back in 2017. I lost 100 pounds. His story was he stopped drinking ketones. He stopped making the better choices. He gained it back, and now is starting over again 3 years later. And he's going to do it again. But you can do this, right? If you have the right tools in place, if you have the accountability, if you have the determination. I'm curious, why are you here and what are your goals? So this is what I did. I started with breakfast. How many people intermittent fast? I didn't start with intermittent fasting, by the way. All that means is you stop eating about dinner time. It could be 7 or 8 o'clock, and you're going to go till the next day around lunchtime, 14 to 16 hours. It's going to help rest your body. You can just Google or research. There's a lot of great benefits to intermittent fasting. I actually didn't start intermittent fasting till last year, so in my 4th year of this, just because I love breakfast. So intermittent fasting is awesome. There's, again, people go, can you have your coffee during your intermittent fasting? Can you drink ketones during your intermittent fasting? Yes, and it depends. Let's just say that. So again, this lifestyle, or if you say diet, is not a one size fits all. I would say somebody on here, like, let's say Autumn's food, her body composition, did I say that right, is different than Bridget, right? Bridget is different than Kristen. Kristen, you're different than Natalie. Natalie, you're different than Amy. Amy, you're different than Nikki, right? So, I can't even go, hey, here's how many calories you should eat. There's an app for that, right? So like you're a different height, a different weight, your body's different. And so, but we can all eat better, and that's what I'm gonna walk you through. So for example, breakfast. You can either intermittent fast. I'm gonna do this in a different color. If you can see it, I'm sorry if you can't see it, but so you can either in the morning, you can intermittent fast. Some people don't like to not eat. I did not do this for a long time, but if you do it, it's awesome. Now I do it probably 3 times a week. Or what I did is I got a sheet of paper out and I said, if I'm gonna eat breakfast, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have eggs. So I would make myself a list. And I wrote it on the fridge, and I wrote eggs, bacon, sausage. That's all I did. Coffee, if you're a coffee drinker, get out the sugar. The S stands for sugar. Or ketones, water. So that's how I started our morning. And once I felt like that was under control and the cereal was out of the house, we didn't have any bagels, there's no donut runs. Like once I felt like this was under control, I had my mindset right. Like I was working on things like we would get up and go for a walk. I think people underestimate the power of your mind in accomplishing what you want here with this lifestyle. If there's one tip I would encourage everybody to do when you get up in the morning before your feet hit the floor is just say 3 things you're thankful for. Let's get your mind space right and listen to an audiobook or read a book, or as you're making your coffee in the morning, as you're walking your dog, as you're showering, as you're putting on your makeup, turn on your phone and watch something that's going to motivate you. So it's huge. Your mindset is so huge, because just think about this. If you get up in the morning and your mindset is right and you've already determined what you're going to eat and you've got your breakfast under control and you've already worked out and you've already went for a walk, do you think you're going to make better choices throughout the day? I didn't even start by tracking my food, just so you know. I did later on. But think about this. If I'm making the best choices possible and I'm consciously getting rid of the sugar and the carbs and the soda, do you think that eventually I'm going to meet my goal? That's what was in my mind, right? And so I'm going to talk about net carbs and total carbs and calories in just a little bit. Sorry, ignore the dogs. There's just so you know. So if you're just tuning in, where are you tuning in from? Post new below if you're new. Please press the share button. And there are 4 adults, 7 kids, and 5 dogs in this house. We have everybody has separate rooms. It's not my home, it's a friend's home, but sometimes it can get crazy. But we're super thankful and we're having a lot of fun. I'm standing outside in Florida and I'm sweating profusely. And if you are somewhere where it's snowing, I'm so sorry. Or maybe that's great, because right now I'm so sticky. But anyways, I want you just to know that we are here to help you, and this lifestyle is amazing if you decide to stick with it long term, and it starts here, okay? So breakfast was simply that. I started with breakfast. Once I had breakfast under control, I dove into lunch, and this is all I did. You ready? All I did was I took the buns off the burgers. So I'm going to write buns, croutons off my salad. I'm going to tell you a funny story in just a second. I grabbed a lettuce wrap. Don't laugh at my writing. I don't have the greatest handwriting. And I took out the pasta and the potatoes. Boop. So I'll give you an example. I kept things like deli meat. Yes, we eat deli meat. Sometimes it's nitrate free, sometimes it's not. Sometimes my meat is organic, sometimes it's not, and that's okay, right? I did the best I could. We would have cheese sticks and pickles and veggies and dip, and I thought, okay, the tip is to flip. So grab something. Let me give you an example. These have been sitting out here. The kids were snacking on these. The tip is to flip. I don't even think the ingredients is on these. These are they're just turkey snack sausages. Are they the best option? They're not bad, right? It's a better option than grabbing a bag of chips. The kids were snacking on them in the pool. But the tip is to flip. So I tell people, look at how many carbohydrates are in things. Is it better that your meat is nitrate free? 100%. We go by a good, better, best. Actually, you should write this in your kitchen or write it in your car when you're going to a restaurant. Here's what helped me immensely. Good, better, and there's a best option, okay? Good, better, best. I'll give you an example. A good option is if you go out to eat, or if you're let's say you're on a car, our family travels a lot and we drive. And when we travel and we're on 35 and we're going back to Minnesota, sometimes the only option is a McDonald's or a Burger King if I didn't pack enough food or snacks. And if we don't want to stop and sit someplace, a good option is take the buns off that McDonald's cheeseburger. Yes, we have done that before. Or that Egg McMuffin, we just have the eggs and sausage. That's a good option, right? A better option is we stop someplace where we actually sit down and pick a better option, a salad, take the croutons off, get the dressing on the side. The best option is I should have packed our own lunch and packed everything and put a cooler in the car. Same thing at a restaurant. You've got good options, there's a better and there's a best. Obviously, the way that you can control your food and the best option in any situation is you make your food at home, right? You control your portions. You make a lot of stuff that you know what's in it. You make your own ranch. All of that stuff takes time. What's great is there's a lot of grocery stores that are offering a lot of low-carb keto options right now as far as dressings and even bread. Is the keto, anybody try the keto bread from Aldi? We have had it. My kids have had grilled cheese on it. Is it a keto option? No, it still has gluten in it. But does it fit your macros? It sure does. It is a good option. But our family's been able to stick with this long term because that's what we did, is we've kept it good, better, best. And we just made this buns off burgers, croutons off the salad, grab a lettuce wrap. What is the best thing for me to grab in the moment that I'm at? Does that make sense? So for supper, once we had breakfast under control, once I had lunch under control and I just started eating simple meals, then we dove into dinner. I think I need a new sheet. Can you see this? You might be able to see it. Okay, I did the same thing. So I just stopped cooking potatoes and pasta, and we ate meat and veggies. And until 5 years ago, I had never touched a real vegetable in my life. I think about 3 years ago, we were at a New Year's Eve party, and there was celery on the counter, and I was telling my friends, hey, I'd never eaten celery in my life. And they were like, what? And so I had to eat a piece of celery that night, and it wasn't that bad. But what we did is we said, okay, as a family, we sat our kids down and we said, all of us are going to work on eating healthier as a family. We don't talk about being fat in our home. We don't talk about mommy needs to lose weight, or this is daddy's food or mommy's food. We've always talked about we want to be healthy. And so if you want your kids to join you, think about this. Why do you think so many kids don't eat the foods their kids are eating? Why do you think so many kids don't eat the foods their parents are eating? Because think about the words that you're speaking, right? If they say that you're eating veggies and chicken and broccoli, but if they hear you say that's mom's food, that's dad's food, they're thinking, I'm not going to eat that. That's mom's diet food, right? But if you're constantly thinking of saying we're eating healthy, we want our bodies to be strong, we want to feel good, because I can promise you, even though your kids might not know how to express how they feel after they eat, you can see it in the way your kids throw fits. You can see it in the way your kids act. If your kids go through stomach aches, if my kids eat too much sugar, they're I shouldn't have eaten that. I know better, right? And so, but if you walk your kids through how they're feeling, how they're acting, what did you eat, and you help them mentally figure out food is correlated to their reaction or their overreaction or attitude or in general just how they're feeling, guess what? You're going to grow up helping your children make better choices so that when they leave, our goal is my children can choose the best foods possible and they don't have to, go to college, or they don't have to get to be where a lot of you are or I am today as adults trying to figure this out right now. What if we can set our kids up for success? And it has to do with you being smart and wise with your words, right? Doing it together, going, guess what? Our family today, we're going to try Brussels sprouts. Yes! I hate Brussels sprouts, by the way. But guess what we did? I said, if we try a new vegetable, we're all going to try at least one. Butter and garlic makes everything taste better. And so that's what we did over the course of these 5 years. Some things we like, some things we don't like, but we tried it, right? And so that's what we did if you're just starting or if you need to get back on track, because let's be real. Hi.
Say hi.
You want to say hi? Yes, you can say hi. Okay, why don't you tell them a couple things. What is your favorite vegetable?
The green one. What is it?
Asparagus? Yeah. What is one thing you usually have for breakfast? What is our breakfast options in the morning?
Egg, sausages, and bacon.
We like the air fryer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Okay.
Give hearts.
Give hearts. Give hearts. She likes to come on here and say give hearts. So this is what I want to walk you through. And so oftentimes people go, I'm not seeing the scale move, or it's been 2 weeks and I feel like this isn't working for me. Anybody been there? Anybody? So I want you to know something. With this lifestyle, it's not just about the scale. When you're going for fat loss is different than weight loss. So you might feel inches lost, your clothes might fit differently, you might have more energy to go for a longer walk, or maybe you can lift heavier weights, maybe you see that your attitude is better, right? Maybe you have the energy to play with your kids. All of these things are going to lead to that scale, but guess what? The scale is not the determining factor, and you'll realize that once you feel better, once you're drinking more water. So that's something else that we did. We stopped buying any juice. We were never pop drinkers, but like we said, if we drink something, it's water. We drink water and ketones. That's it. I'm not a coffee drinker or a tea drinker, and if you are, that's okay. I hope this is making sense. There are so many people that dive into this trying to fit all of their macros perfectly. I want to show you something, okay? So this is super important. I'm going to get a different sheet of paper, because most people go, how do I know what if I don't eat enough fats? What if I eat too many fats? How do I track my fats? How do I track my carbs? So I want you to think about this for a second. This is super important. When somebody dives into this lifestyle, guess what happens? Has anybody done this? Oh my goodness, I'm eating keto. Of course I can have that. It's bacon? Give me all the bacon. Give me all the cheese. That's a keto snack on the shelf. Like, look at all those keto snacks from all these companies. I can eat them as much as I want, whenever I want. Guess what? It's okay. It's keto. Has anybody said that or thought that? Anybody? Yes. So what I want you to know is simply this. A keto snack is awesome. And when you're eating low carb, when you're eating keto, I want you to know something. It does not give you an excuse to eat whenever you want, however you want. So hold on one second.
Get your shoes on.
They're going to play ball.
Come on. What are you doing?
I'm talking to people.
What are you training on?
We're talking about food. I'm sweating so bad,
let's go.
so bad. We're talking about food.
Coming in or out?
We're starting, right? So what I want you to know is simply this. When you dive into this lifestyle, you can do something, and you either have to do it right or you either do it lifestyle. There's an in-between. Like anybody who does keto, who does strict keto, who does lazy keto, who does dirty keto, who does low carb. Like there are so many. Has anybody heard all of these things? What is the difference? Okay. So this is what my husband did. My husband did 7 years ago. And all he did was he ate 80% fat. He ate 15% protein. This stands for protein. This stands for fat. Carbs. He only ate 5% carbs, okay? He ate 5% carbs. Listen, my husband was tracking his food, weighing everything out. I'm not going to give you your macros. If you want to do it this way, go find MyFitnessPal, a carb counter, go find something, right? And do it this way. Because if you're doing it properly and you're eating that amount of fat, then you're going to eat really low carb. Fats keep you fuller longer, and you're going to have fat loss, which is clothes fitting differently. But now listen, because dirty keto, lazy keto, low carb is way more popular than this because this doesn't last very long. My husband went like this for years. In and out of ketosis, in and out of ketosis. Now, anybody low carb so listen. Hey, did you guys know something? Facebook started something new. You can give stars. And if you give stars, you can donate them to different things. I don't know all about them, but if you see a star option, you should press the stars. I don't know what it means, but I know it's super cool, and then I can do something with it. And I think I can do like donate to an organization. There's a super cool one that we'll have to talk about later. We'll talk about that later. I'm getting sidetracked. Squirrel. But you can give stars. So give stars. I don't know what that means, but I know it's new. Okay, so think about this real quick. Did our dogs get out? They did. The dogs are over there, Steve. Okay, they're over by the fence. Okay. If you decide to do lazy keto or dirty keto, what happens is this. People go, I don't want to be under 20 carbs a day. So if you're doing the strict keto, you've got to be under 20 carbs a day, and hopefully your body will make ketones, but not everybody's does. Now, if you decide to do let's say low carb is it varies, let's say 70, 60 carbs or under, okay? Let's say you decide to do low carb and you're 60 carbs or under a day and you're mentally tracking your food. Here's what happens. People eat a little bit higher carb, which is fine, right? Because if you're doing a really strict diet and you're tracking, oh my goodness, hold on a second. What in the world is going on here? I'm listening to myself. My husband's phone turned on. That's awkward. Okay, so here's the problem. I need you to be very clear with this. What happens is people up their carbs, which is fine, right? It's fine to do low carb. Think about somebody who usually eats 300 carbs a day and bringing it down to 60. You're going to have results. You're going to feel better. You're going to experience some fat loss. But what happens when they make the excuse that I can eat all the cheese? It's fine. I can drink 4 cups of heavy whipping cream in my coffee. It's keto. I can eat a pound of bacon. Of course I can eat that keto snack. Oh, everybody else is eating? I'm not really hungry, but it's keto. I can eat it. So they eat the 80% fat for the low carb lazy keto. So let's say they're eating the 80% fat. I need a different sheet. Hold on. But they're still eating low carb. So if they are eating all of this fat, and let's say they're eating, but let's say they're still eating 25% carbs, okay? Is that still low carb? Yes. What's going to happen? Anybody? Guess what's going to happen? They might either hit a plateau, or they're not going to experience the fat loss that they want, or guess what? What else? They might gain weight. Why? Because they're eating all of this fat, they're eating all of this keto food, and they didn't lower their carbs enough. So what I need you to know is this. When you're eating keto or low carb, think about this. I want you to write this one phrase down. If there's one phrase, I'm going to write it down for you. It's super important, okay? I'll write it really big. My dogs are barking. It's driving me nuts. Am I hungry? Good fats like avocados, coconut oil, butter, a good steak. Guess what happens? If you're not hungry, don't eat. So you don't have to be eating every 2 hours. You don't have to snack to keep up your metabolism. You don't have to do that. We used to eat years ago before I had kids, the chicken, the rice and the broccoli every 2 hours. You don't have to do it. So I just want you to know something. You can overeat calories. Why? Because I'm going to show you. There's 9 calories for every fat gram, approximately. Let's say there's 4 calories for every carb gram. So what happens when you up your fats and you still bring down some of your carbs, but you're always eating fat, even if you're not hungry? What happens? You eat too many calories, right? Even if they're good. And so you have to understand, you can eat the avocados, you can put the butter on your broccoli, you can do all of those things, and you don't eat if you're not hungry, right? So what I always say to myself, even when my kids are eating lunch, is am I hungry right now? Should I wait another hour? I physically am not hungry. Now, if we're traveling and my only option is to eat at one certain time and I'm not going to eat until 7 o'clock at night, Sure, I'll eat something, or maybe the meal doesn't look like, a meal doesn't have to be a massive plate full of food, right? I think we also misinterpret like our meals. Our meals can be like, I could have a handful of almonds, maybe a cheese stick, maybe a turkey wrap, like something super simple. It doesn't have to be this enormous meal. So what I want you to do and what I want you to understand is simply this. Do not eat if you're not hungry. Start slow. One meal at a time, one day at a time. I started with breakfast, then I moved to lunch, then I moved to dinner, right? And then if I'm hungry in between, which I'm not a snacker, but I'd love to know, how are you doing? Are you a snacker? And if you do, what do you snack on? So earlier today, I posted a little picture of like moon cheese. If we snack, I snack on hard-boiled eggs, pickles, almonds, macadamia nuts, veggies, and ranch. So think about something so simple. Yep, I do lunch. So for example, again, intermittent fast. If you're just hopping on and you're brand new, post a new below, press the share button because so many people need just accountability. We're going to be doing some fun things on the page. You're not going to want to miss it. So stay tuned. And also, I think you can have the notifications on the page to set to see first so that when we do lives, Q&As, we might be doing workouts with you in the morning. You'll have to watch tomorrow. I'll let you know. And I touch my face all the time. I know. You guys, I'm sweating profusely. It's really hot here, but I'm super thankful. So what I want you to know is this. Our family is here to encourage you. Our family is here to help you. There's lots of things that we want to help you with, especially accountability. We're going to be doing something super fun, so stay tuned. Probably in the next week or two, I've got to pick a date because I need to make sure you get it. So we're going to do like a virtual keto life party. Somebody asked about what's the special tool. I drink ketones. I have from the very beginning. I don't have any sitting right with me, but the reason that I every single day could go one meal at a time, one day at a time, and choose the best choices. Why are people giving people mean faces? Don't give people mean faces. Unless it's like, oh yeah, I agree with you. Because what I love about this page, just so you know, when somebody comes here, I'm like, you better take off your black robe. Or there's people that, I boot you out. I'm going to boot you out of this page because you're not going to bring people down because this is not a one size fits all. People need to get on, like, focus on their journey. You don't dive into this going, if you're crazy strict keto, 80% under 20 carbs a day, I'm going to guess you're going to last for probably 2 weeks to maybe 4 weeks, maybe 3 months. And I hear it every single day. I did it, lost the weight, came back. I did it, lost the weight, came back. So take off your black robe. What that means is you're not the judge of anybody else but your own journey, right? And I'm not afraid to remove you. So there are so many people here that just want to live a healthy, feel amazing lifestyle. And you can do that with this lifestyle if you stop watching your husband's fat loss, ladies, because husbands or men lose fat differently and sometimes faster than women, right? Let's just be real. Sometimes women find themselves eating a ton of dairy and dark chocolate and peanut butter. Guess what? You can overeat that. And if you cut back on some dairy, guess what? You might have a little less bloating. It's just how our bodies work. And so is it fair? No, but life isn't fair. That's what my dad always said. And so what I want you to know is our family's here to help you. We will, if you want some simple recipes, somebody asked me today, why don't your recipes have like all of the macros and all the serving sizes? Well, I'm not a chef. I never was. I don't love to live in the kitchen. So everything on our blog, I'm like itching my face because I'm sweating and there's like little bugs. So forgive me, but I'm not going anywhere. I'll wash my hands. But everything that I make is for a family of 6 and we always have leftovers. So any meal that I share, when I give you the ingredients, it's for at least a family of 6, probably could feed a family of 8 or 10 for real because we always have leftovers. And I always choose meals that are at low carb or keto ingredients, but I don't track things because I just dump them, figure it out, tastes good, it doesn't taste good. If it's good, I'll share it with you. The website is ketomomsecrets.com. They're the easiest recipes. And so if you want to figure out the macros, awesome. I don't track my macros anymore because I know the flours to choose. I know I'm going to use monk fruit. I know I shouldn't eat that pizza. If I choose to eat it, I'm going to feel like garbage, right? My goal is not fat loss right now. My goal is to actually gain some muscle, to feel better. If your goal is fat loss, it might be important for you to track your food in something like a carb counter or MyFitnessPal to visually go, wow, I'm overeating, or actually I'm doing great. And then when you get the hang of it, you don't have to track forever, right? My husband did that for years and now he knows. So what I want you to know is we are here to support, encourage, guide you. We've got tons of recipes that we will share. I would love it if you would do a couple of things. Press the share button below. Sharing is caring. If you want to know more about my mom fuel, I'm not going to go into it. So I drink ketones every single day. We're going to be doing something called a virtual keto life party. And so if you want to know more about it, it involves trying a 3-pack or a 5-pack of ketones. You can post party below and you and I are going to chat. I think it'll be next week. You're going to hop on a fun live where I actually can talk to you. So it's called a Zoom. And you'll be able to ask me questions. We're going to shake up ketones. I'm going to educate you actually on the power of ketones and what they do. And so we're going to do that sometime next week. So if you want to join on the virtual Keto Life Party where you're going to hop on and actually you can talk to me. I'm going to see your face. You're going to see mine. I'll walk you through how to do it. It is going to involve drinking ketones. So even if you just want to know more about what I'm doing, post party below and we can chat. But right now I am sweating profusely. All I'm going to say is this, and I'll leave you with this. Don't mess up good for perfect, right? Like this is a lifestyle. This is something that you can do long term. If you do what we talked about, if you do the figure out breakfast, figure out like buns off the burgers, croutons off the salad, grab a lettuce wrap. If you decide that, I'm going to drink more water, we're not buying juice anymore, we're not buying the Pop-Tarts, get this stuff out of the house, right? What are some better options for your meals? Write it on the refrigerator. I would also encourage you a couple things. Always carry a water bottle around with you. And if you can, not everybody can because of physical ailments, but like go for a walk, right? Go get some fresh air. Would you guys like it if we did workouts on this page every single day? The girls said they would do it with me. So I think probably around 8:30 in the morning, my kids are going to come on and we're going to give you like 5 different moves. We're going to turn it on and you can do it whenever you want to. And we're just going to do a fun little workout for you. So I'm not a fitness expert by any means, but I can get you through some push-ups or squats or lunges, or we can do something fun. And so we're going to do that in the mornings with the girls. I have to drag them out of bed. And I appreciate you all. I think you're amazing. I'll get back with all the people that posted party below. It'll be sometime next week. I just got to figure it out. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for sharing the video. Thank you for tuning into the page. Our family appreciates it, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.